Hello, welcome back. I'm Tonya from Tonya's Witchy Kitchen, and how are you doing today? I got massive sunshine in my windows, so you're gonna have to deal with it. So much for the clear coating or whatever they call it on the glasses, right? Reflective, whatever it is. Yeah, doesn't seem to work when it's bouncing off windows. So, did you make any New Year's resolutions? Like I said, I don't make them, but I'm always thinking about improving. But I want to look back at 2025 for just a minute, and actually the last 5 years since I officially started my business. And what a blessing it has been. I haven't grown, I haven't exploded like some soapers out there. And it could be just because, I live more in a rural state, than some of those people, If you live in a big city, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And maybe that's just not what God has intended for me, right? I like my soaping as my hobby. It was a hobby. It became a sanity saver. And so, it is what it is. But I have to say, I have grown a little bit every year. I have improved. I have done better. I have grown financially, which is awesome. Could I sustain myself in a shop? Probably not. It is something to think about, where do, progress and where do I want to go? Where do I want to be? I have this little note. I have notes all over the place. It was on my calendar, and it says, where do you want to be in 5 years? Because that was an actual thing. Like, where do I want to be in my relationships in 5 years? But where do I want to be 5 years with my soap business? I really don't know. Because I'm kind of fine where I'm at right now. Sometimes I kind of, get a little down about it, when I see other people on Facebook and they're like, look at this, look at all these boxes I'm shipping, but it's okay because it's me, and I have so much other stuff in my life right now because I have seen soapers quit. I have seen other companies quit due to outside forces, or just because they don't get to spend enough time with their families. And, when it gets down to the bottom line, I know that however I grow is however I grow, right? Let me know some of your new resolutions. I think the easiest thing to keep when you make one is to have a buddy that helps you with it. Okay. But anyway, 3 things. Be kind, be forgiving, be you. And let's go check out Random Sass Soap number 3. I always call them random. They're the random sets. So Random Soap number 3, bow ties and bourbon. And Happy New Year, everybody. And to our soap. As I started this one, I was like, why am I starting it with the liquid? I wasn't going to show you the live portion part. And then I realized this is when I broke my immersion blender. It finally died. Finally died. I've had that probably 3 years. A good 3 years. And so, yeah, I have my mini milk whisker. And so I'm going to show you that you can get soap. When you're determined, there's a way to do it. And I know there are people who literally use like hand whisks. And I'm sure that's how my grandma would have done it, maybe add a little heat to it, so it starts setting up a little better. But in retrospect, this actually turned out really well because I wasn't sure. I have no clue what any of these fragrance oils are going to do except for what I am told they're going to do if I am so lucky. Because Aztec Candle Company is not the greatest about saying, worked great in cold process. You don't see dates on the the reviews, so I was prefer to look at the most current reviews because, if fragrances change or the thing, the company changes the fragrance, if you can't see the date, I'm hoping they're putting them in, order of newest to oldest. So this is bow ties and bourbon from Aztec. It is supposed to have some major discoloration to it. And yeah, I was seeing it already because that is activated charcoal and that color is supposed to be Bermuda Triangle. So if I ever do this one again, I'm going to add at least, another amount of that because I was really disappointed. But then with the discoloration, I was like, it's probably not going to be blue anyway, right? And then just a good dose of titanium dioxide to the just in case, how bad is this going to discolor, It doesn't say it's going to discolor to, brown. Can't even remember what it says. Or maybe sometimes I go off the vanillin content, which isn't always accurate because you could have 0 vanillin and it could turn purple, or some funky color. But that's okay. So for this pour, I did the tradition. It's not traditional, but I've seen it done in a lot of slab molds, and I just think it's so much fun to where you are basically pouring directly into the mold, directly into the center, and get all these fun layers. Probably, this looked great right here. Can we just pause, and not have any more soap batter? Because right now it's super fluid and it's going in there great, but as I go, well, of course it gets thicker too, and so I just felt like my design wasn't as awesome. I guess that's what you could do, dump just, 6 sets, 6 pours, like, so green once, white once, black once, and then the rest of the green, the rest of the white, the rest of the black. I guess I could have done that if I was thinking, but I wasn't. I was going for the thin lines and the cute pours, and I don't really care. It bothered me when I was pouring this, but I should have known that it doesn't matter if I break the plane because that top layer is going in the grab bags. Did I explain this to you, what I'm doing with this? I thought I did. Maybe it's not necessarily. I thought I did. I thought I told you. This gets shaved into 6 parts, and the top part goes into the grab bags, and the rest is for my random soap sets that are sold on the website in sets of 6, and they come with a really cute bamboo soap holder. And now, notice I pulled from the center in, and now I'm going to pull from the outside in. So in to out, out to in. And then, of course, I put a heat pad over it with a towel and warm it up super, super nice. So it is ready to go. Here's the cutting, and I'm going to fast forward through this. Is there anybody else who wants to fast forward through the cutting? Raise your hand. Majority rules. Great. Okay, so going to fast forward through this. I'm getting the hang of it by this third one, but I'm still not liking it. So I do actually come up with a different way to cut these. Like I said, I'm just not that great at, it's one cut with the knife, right? Good thing I'm not having to cut a bunch of things, but it's just, I don't know. It was one of those things that I didn't like about it. But look at the size of these. These are super cute. So even if you cut them, if you did this pour in a mold, which wouldn't quite be the same, in a thicker mold, because I know it does. I've tried it. It does. The sides do come out a little different, but if you cut it the wrong way, this would be, what I'm cutting would be the right way for the intention of the design. But if you cut it the wrong way, I think you still would get a good design out of it. If you look at some of the edges, but yeah, yay to me for marking that mold. I know some of you might think it was stupid, but I think is great, and which is why I bought the mold, so that I could cut soaps however I wanted to cut them, you know? I absolutely love my mold. I do have problems every now and then, you know, cleaning the wire. I have to clean the wire a little more often than, you know, you just cut the whole mold and boom, you're done. But, yeah. For these, I do clean them up a little bit. I don't show you that part. I usually let them set because they're soft, and then, you know, I do, you know, try to, and then, you know, there's that. So a massive discoloration, no blue, no black, no white, but I love the design. And here are the soaps when they're actually cured. It's one of the soaps you actually get to see, just because it was so different. But anyways, I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by, and Happy New Year, you guys, and God bless.